Broadcasting from the depths of outer space.
Hello, I'm alive. I don't know what's going on.
By your command.
Fascinating.
God damn you all to hell!
It's the Sci-Fi Podcast.
This is episode 18 of the Solo One Sci-Fi Podcast. Michael Ball on the show with not a big intro this week because I can't be bothered to find the sound effects. It's my co-host and scientific sci-fi legend, Mr. Martin Fowler. Hello, Martin. How are you?
Hello.
Nice to talk to you. How have you been doing?
I've been doing very well.
All right. Tell me the latest about what's happening in your part of the world, i.e. London.
It's very quiet. It's very surreal. It's very. What's that virus film? 28 Days.
Later,
I'm wandering around. There's like abandoned buses, abandoned cars. I'm the last person in London, and I'm just wandering about, and I'm looking for somebody to talk to. Is anybody out there?
Well, you can talk to me, so maybe it's better to be on your own. I don't know. It just depends on your whether you enjoy talking to me once a week or not. I saw
keeping me sane.
Well, this is why this is good doing this, because we can do it from home. We enjoy doing it. We talk about our favourite genre, and I think it's strange how I'm enjoying just talking to people online more. I did my first live stream last week on YouTube, and actually I didn't think you'd get many. I had about 350, 400 views, and people saying it was quite. They liked it. So I'm going to do another one tomorrow night, which will be the day that this is released probably. Just talking about how you're doing, what you're doing, and it's just people are very acting very differently. I've not been outside now for 2.5 weeks, and I'm dealing with it okay. Luckily, I've got a house. We've got a table tennis table. We have just removed the remains of a very defiant holly tree last weekend, which is so good. So pleased, it's gone. And what I'm doing is, it sounds sad, but I've got from my den I can run round to my kitchen and then come back in a circle. So I'm doing like a 15-minute sort of walks and runs just to keep my legs exercised and stuff like that, which sounds silly, but then there's minimum amounts you can do in the house. You can do those online fitness things on YouTube. Maybe I should try one of those at some point.
I've been doing Zumba.
You've been doing what? Zumba. Okay.
Zumba, yeah, Zumba, yeah.
That sounds like something. That's a sci-fi where something says temper, your eyes wide. I'm thinking of episode of Star Trek Next Generation, the episode where I can't remember the race, but they can't. The universal translate doesn't work. Picard is stuck on and he says temper, his arms wide. Remember that character? Darmok.
Yes,
Darmok.
I do, yes.
So that word reminded me of Darmok. Now why? Now is that sad?
Darmok.
Darmok. Yeah, Darmok. That's what I thought when he said Zemba, whatever it was.
Zumba.
Zumba,
yeah.
His arms wide.
20-minute sessions every morning.
You just got a word from Darmok, haven't you? That's what it is. You just.
Yeah, I did. I got myself away from it. I did, yeah.
Zumba, his arms wide.
I've joined I went on WhatsApp. I got contacted by people locally. They're forming a lot of video groups.
Right.
And I joined and I had a video conference on Zoom with them.
Okay, how'd it go?
Was it Monday? And they're organising, like, you got a musician on there, he's going to do music 3 times a week, and then I'm going to host the party thing, and it's just to get people like talking to each other and stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of them, there's quite a few work in corporate sector and they've had their lifestyle change and they need routine, I suppose. They need,
Yeah.
So quite interesting, nice people actually. So I've got a meeting tonight at 6 o'clock. Yeah, but I'm at home.
I know. Yeah, we had at the weekend. We often see my mum, and she's relatively computer savvy, so we hooked up the laptops and TV, and we all sort of sat around in my room, and we had a sort of like a 2-hour sort of conference call with her, and she really liked it. She really enjoyed it. So that was really cool. The other thing I'm doing at the moment, which would appeal, well, it might appeal to some of your sci-fi fans, but on YouTube, there's been one or two Doctor Who fans who have done a compilation of every TARDIS materialisation and dematerialisation in New Who, and I've always found that's one of the most specific parts of Doctor Who. I love the sound. I just love the idea of the TARDIS materialising a new location for the next adventure. So I've spent the last 2 days doing the classic series, and
Excellent.
it's just processing now, and it lasts an hour from 1963 to 1989. Not almost every one. There are one or two missing, but it's pretty thorough. So I think the Doctor Whovians will love that, because no one else, from what I've seen, has ever done it. And I would never have done it normally, but I just had this idea because I'm relatively savvy with technology, and I thought it'd be a fun thing to put on YouTube. So it'll be on CoClud, my channel, hopefully soon. It says it's step converting. It depends on whether it converts or not, because it's I've had to delete so much off my hard drive to get this all edited on. So hopefully that should be interesting. So we'll just stay tuned for that one. So anything else that's happening before we go into the news?
Yeah, I'm going to do that audio file you sent me. I'm working out where's out to film it. I don't know whether I do it from the front door.
Do you want to?
I find it quite funny, you know.
Do you want to elaborate what the file was?
The Eddie Murphy one.
Right, so basically you had an Eddie Murphy clip, and you're going to reenact the words.
Good morning, my neighbours. And somebody shouts back, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
So Eddie goes, "Yes, fuck you."
Well, if you want to, if you reenact it, I mean, you probably do it yourself, but I can really easily mix in the audio from your footage and then send it back to you.
Would you mind doing that?
No, of course I don't. As long as all you got to do is hear it with the headphones on. So, or no, obviously you can't, but hear it. So, well, actually, if you did it, I could then mute the bounce back of the original sound, and then you're talking, because you'll know exactly when to say it because you'll hear it, and then I can then mix it in with. I can do that. I can do that in 5 minutes.
Could I use it by playing that in the background of my minute? Could I use that?
Of which bit?
Do you know that is? Cause I was going to use headphones, but stood at the door for a cup of tea in a bathrobe on, and I'd shout out to the street.
Yeah.
And then somebody obviously. And could I do that by having it in the background and using that to mine from?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, I can, like I said, I can mute out that sound and then replace it with the original, which is a high quality, with your lips syncing with that. That's no problem.
Okay, if you don't mind doing that, I would be grateful.
Yeah.
It'll be a lot of time, even though I've got fuck all to do.
After what I'm doing with the Doctor Who thing, it's a 5-minute job. Won't even take that. There'll be no problem at all.
All right.
I'll do that, no problem.
Right, then I'll get working on that over the weekend. Then.
Yeah,
I'm going to look a right dick on the street doing that, you know.
I was going to say at some point, because you used I did you a while back, I did a time tunnel thumbnail of you in the time tunnel with you wearing this weird sort of punk gear. Do you want me, because like I said, I've got a lot of time on my hands, to do some more fun thumbnails for a YouTube channel?
Are you sure you don't mind doing
No. It takes me. I don't mind at all.
I don't like intruding on people.
You're not intruding. You're a mate, and I don't mind helping you out, and you help me out.
Okay.
So no, that's fine.
That'd be great. Yeah.
So if you have some ideas of where if you want specific images, or like I did a weird one with you on the Enterprise where you were like clones of yourselves a while ago.
There's one where I did send you a photograph a while back in the message where I've got Doctor Doom's armour on, where I want my head on top of it.
I'll tell you what.
And he's got building two cosmic blasts in his armour.
Send it over to me on Dropbox again, if you don't mind, because I might not be able to find it. And then tell me where you want. And then just tell me in what footage or. So is it like it's not me where I'm putting your face on a body? It's already you're dressed up in something else. Is that right?
No, it's a comic body, but my head being put on top of it.
Oh, fine. Yeah. Well, yeah. Just tell me if you've got like a picture of you and the whatever it is mixed together. I can do that. That's no problem. 10-minute job. That's fine. Brilliant.
All right. Well, if you don't mind.
You're very welcome. So let's. Now we haven't got a lot of sci-fi news, but let's just hit the jingle and go with it.
Working. So in the sci-fi news.
All right.
Okay.
So on sci-fi news this week is going to be a short one. From what I understand, just about every production has now halted for the time being. I've heard that the new Ghostbusters film, which was supposed to be released in July, I think it was, has now been put back to March next year. And it's quite interesting now because, of course, some of the cinemas are debating now whether to release the films, rather than being on cinema, release it in a digital format. So you can still pay for it, but of course, when you download a digital copy, it's a lot cheaper than you going to the cinema and buying the popcorn and everything else. So one or two films like the Invisible Man remake, which has just been released on digital, it was supposed to go to cinema. I watched it, I thought it was quite good. Ghostbusters, which of course is going to be a big one, has been put back to next year. March next year, that's another whole year, is a long time. I'm not that bothered myself. I mean, I like Ghostbusters, but I'm not a fanatic of it. And this one looks like it's going to be, we talked about this before, it looks like it's going to be full of kids anyway. But it's interesting to see what will happen with other big films this year. There was supposed to be the next Avatar in December, I think it was.
Well, was that due out this year then?
I think it was. Unless it's...
Right.
I thought it was... Yeah, because I thought myself, when I heard about it, I might be wrong, but I've been used to quite often Star Wars films coming on around Christmas in the last recent years.
Yes.
And now I think, because Avatar, I think it's December 2020. Unless it's been 2020, but they're making about three new ones or something. So
well, apparently, Black Widow and Wonder Woman are going to be released. Well, I was reading the other day that Black Widow and I think Eternals might be the big Marvel movies this year. They might be getting released on Disney Plus, but you're going to have to pay for them.
Oh, so Disney are going to get their money back from you? Yeah. Well, that thing is.
But I think there could be a threat here because. Like, if this goes on for 6 months, good God, I hope it don't go on for 6 months. I mean, I'm not thinking to myself, but that we can get over this, the next couple of months. I think, but if this goes on for 6 months, say it does, and we're all isolated like this, I think the cinemas are going to go bust, and because by this time everybody's going to be streaming.
Well, this is what I was going to say.
A lot of people are going to start thinking, well, why should I bother going to the cinema?
It could well be.
Why should I bother? I really do think it could change the mindset
I think
of a lot of people. And the cinema now then will become... they'll still be there, but they'll be like a novelty.
Now, that's a very interesting analysis, because one thing also is that I remember when I used to go to the cinema, one of the factors was the big screen and the Dolby Surround, the deep bass and everything, and I'd go home and watch my 4:3 ratio little box TV, and that's what made the cinema so good. Now, it's like my uncle's got this... he's got this TV. I've never seen anything like it. God knows how much it costs, but it's the width of a... credit card, and that thing just covers the whole bloody wall, and it's got all the components are sort of built at the bottom, and it's just got a little wire, which I don't know. I mean, and this thing it's like a bloody cinema, and my TV is 48 inch, so it's not the biggest, but it's fine, and I've wired up my old hi-fi.
No, mine does, mate. Yeah,
and I've hired up I've got my old hi-fi one, so I've got the two really good bass speakers in each end of the room, and I watch something like Star Wars, and it sounds fucking good. It sounds really good.
That's what I mean.
And so you can really have the cinema experience in many ways without the hassle of people eating and coughing and spluttering around you, going to the place, being ripped off about 20 quid just to get a jumbo hot dog and a bit of popcorn. And you can watch it again and again. You can pause it. You can go to the toilet, and it actually makes the whole thing equally pleasurable. So I think it could.
I totally think you're right, because when I would see Terminator Dark Fate, I go in the afternoon, because nobody's there.
Yeah.
And I went in and I saw this couple in front of me. They must have spent 45 quid.
Right.
They got hot dogs, popcorn, stupid 8-foot Coke.
Yeah.
And they spent £45 on just that, and they had a tray for it all. And I just sat there and I thought, are you kidding me? Is this what we're down to? I remember I looked at a bag of SMN, them chocolate things with the nuts in. I forgot what they're called.
Chocolate things with the nuts in. Ferrero Rocher.
No, forever. Cinema.
You never know.
No. Fucking. They've got them candy cover. They've got nuts in the middle, like chocolates.
Toblerone. I don't know.
No. They're They're SMs. I forgot what they're called.
S&M?
They're adverts on. No. They're big adverts on selling them.
I don't watch adverts. I do not. I'm an advertising nightmare. All right, okay. There used to be an advert.
They were like, well, in pound shop, they're £1 for a same bag for £4 in cinema. I mean, it's £3 more than pound shop.
Yeah, I know.
And I mean, I only popped at cinema. I used to go quite a lot years ago, but I only go to see certain things now. And I mean, it was £12.50 for me to go to the view. And I mean, it's like a factory you're in. There's no personality in the place. You watch the film. I don't stick around. I go when the film actually starts. I don't bother sitting through it.
Well, actually, what I used to do is I used to take my iPod or headphones, and I literally plug myself in until I see the actual this movie has been rated whatever it is, and then I put my because I cannot watch adverts. I'm an advertiser's nightmare.
Well, I can't watch the trailers either.
And if I've
seen them all on YouTube.
If I see that bloody Grammarly advert one more time on YouTube, I'm going to smash in my screen. For God, that twat with the jumper on. Oh my God, shut up! How much money has that company poured into YouTube to bore us to death about this one software? They must have spent billions. That thing with that nerd with the jumper. Sorry, I know this is not sci-fi related. But
you mean the perfect people?
Oh, I don't know. It's just this guy with this purple jumper.
Well, they're all perfect,
it's got this stupid tinkly music, and it drives me absolutely spare. I want to get a sledgehammer and smash my computer screen. Just get off. I'm not interested in your products. And yes, I've named it on this YouTube, on this podcast, but oh my God. That's how stir crazy I'm going.
And there's that American fella, there's London Rail, always advertising his courses. He can change your life.
Yeah.
Every bloody YouTuber. Hi, I'm Brian, and I run a company, and I create podcasts, and I get people motivated, and I can show you how to make money and change your life. And I'm like, oh, for God's sake. And I can't get rid of it because you've got to sit there and see the full thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, what I do is most of them you can get rid of them after 5 seconds. One or two. So I put mute on my computer, and then I'll move something in front of the screen so you can just see the yellow bar go. I'll do all that, just not sit there watching junk that people are trying to sell me, which I don't want. It just just drives me nuts. So, sorry to go off.
Well, a friend of mine uses ad blocker and YouTube.
Yeah, I've heard that.
They've become very wise to that now. They know he's using it.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but yeah, I know.
It sort of freaks the videos. When you get to the end of the video, you've got to press to change it again. Because they know it's the ad blocker. It even says, we know you're using ad blocker. I think if you don't want to watch adverts, then you shouldn't have to watch them. I don't want to watch them. I don't want to watch them.
No, I know. It's like I said,
conspiracy. They're out to take over our minds and the world. I've warned everybody for years.
Well, this is why, this is why I don't watch live TV. I don't watch commercial TV. Netflix is good because you don't get adverts on that. You just watch the whole show, but you pay for it. That's why it works. But YouTube is getting worse with the adverts selling us junk. And it's
I've got Disney Plus.
What's that like? Oh yeah, tell me about that. I mean, apparently, did we mention that last week that they haven't actually shown all the Mandalorian episodes yet on that, which is crazy?
Well, I was scrolling through Facebook last week, and it was just non-stop adverts for it, and people underneath have just signed up for this, and I thought, well, I didn't want to get it. And I thought, well, it's only so much for a year, So I thought, well, I'd spend that in a month on Blu-rays.
Yeah.
So I got it for a year. I bought it for a year. I've got 7 days free, which I've just run out today.
Okay.
And it's not bad. It's. I thought, excellent. I can watch Clone Wars now. Or catch up with season 7 in peace. And there were only 3 episodes on. And then I went to Mandalorian, there were 3 episodes.
Okay, so hang on. Why?
I've seen them all.
Why have they not put the Mandalorian on? That's one of the main selling points, is the Mandalorian. So
Well,
why?
I don't know because
It doesn't make any sense.
Because when I saw them, when they magically appeared on my screen from somewhere, just by magic, it was like, I think because we got it later in the UK, the Americans got it earlier, I think last year,
Right.
and we only got it sometime in March. They're assuming that they put on one episode a week.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Like they do on Netflix with Discovery,
Well,
and Picard as well.
yeah.
And everybody I know, there ain't one single person, from members of my family to everybody else, they all saw it all last year.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody
It's one of the
I
most
know.
pirated, streamed shows probably since God knows what, but like Stranger Things or something.
Yeah.
It's huge, and it's ridiculous because they don't need to do that. That's crazy.
I didn't know that Disney owned the National Geographic channel.
I've never really seen it, but I know it's very
No,
good.
nor have I. I started. Do you remember we were on about Life After People?
That's the only thing I was about to. You just took the words right out of my head. I was just about to say the only thing that I know from that, which I loved, was the Life After People series.
Well, they've done one where you remove the sea, and we get to see what's there. If there was
Are
no
they
sea.
still? Are they still making it?
I assume it's a sequel. I assume because I
Oh.
watched it last night for the first time.
Oh,
It
I've not
was,
seen that one.
Do you remember that war film, Heroes of Telemark, about the heavy water when the Germans tried building a nuclear bomb?
I know that they did that, but I haven't seen the film that you mentioned.
Well, they were very close to something called heavy water, what they needed at the time, and they were shipping it across some lake, and obviously it got sabotaged and sunk.
Right.
Because it was a priority. Well, what they did was this thing it's something about the ocean. They removed all the water out of this lake, and it showed you what were there on the lake, and it showed you they reckon all the heavy water containers still there today.
Oh, what? Oh, that's interesting.
The warships as well, and they're covering different things like underwater cities. The all ocean gets moved out when you see it, and you get to. It's pretty good actually. It's a bit over sensationalised in how it's presented, but I like the effect when they move the water and you get to see what would be there without the water. It's quite interesting.
Yeah. Well, that's the sort of thing I love. I mean, I think that's one thing in science
I'll
fiction.
get the name for it, and I'll get the name for it.
Thank you. Yeah, I love you. Thank you. That's very kind of you. I just think one of my loves of science fiction has always been just how you can get these stories. Now, it's interesting. This is interesting because my mum is not I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but she is familiar with these apocalyptic films like The Omega Man and I Am Legend and even 28 Days Later and stuff. And yeah, she did overreact a bit, but she said to me, and it was really quite surreal because she's always been a bit poo-pooing of sci-fi. She said, everything you said about science fiction in these things, it's all coming true. And of course, it's not to that extent, but it does mirror how science fiction can have an effect in reality. And going back to what you just said, I think that science fiction is such an interesting genre for making you think about these things, like what would the Earth be like without water, what would be at the bottom of the sea, and how would nature evolve. And I love that. And I think to me it's just something that's always held an appeal. And you told me this week about the man from, or actually it's not the man, it's Man from Atlantis with Patrick Duffy. And I've watched the first...
Yes.
I watched the first 3 episodes. Now, the first 3 episodes are all movie length. They're very long.
Yes,
But
yeah.
I thought it was quite good.
Yeah, no, it is. There's 14 episodes apparently.
And apparently the first 3 are longer. Then the ones after go down to like 45 minutes in length or something. They're not as long.
Yeah,
But-
they get really weird.
But I saw the one with spores or something. And these people... there was these spores from alien spores, and then suddenly people started turning grey, and then some of them were laughing, some of them were crying, and it was. I still thought it was quite. Yes, it's cheesy, it's a bit campy, but I don't mind that science fiction. I do with certain things.
Well,
I don't know, it's
I like the submarine. I thought the submarine's rather cool, and
Yeah, I thought
like
that's
the
quite cool.
water base as well. And I like the super villain in the first one because he turns up a couple of times.
Well, I didn't know it was going to be this. It's almost like, and it also mentions a ship called Sequest in it, which I thought was quite an interesting part
Yes,
of.
yes.
I thought it was literally going to be like a series on this man on like working with these specialists, and there's like a a threat of the week, but it seems more like they're exploring or doing stuff with this submarine. It's feeling a little bit more like a voyage to the bottom of the sea. So it's interesting. It's going in different directions.
Well, I got hold of the book. He wrote a book.
Yeah, but he did.
Yeah,
I heard about that. Yeah, I read about
I've just started on it now. He's just come into contact with his own people. He doesn't remember them, but he remembers the smells. And I'm getting I'm hoping to finish it by Sunday, and it's quite. The book actually has written quite a good book. So I'm 4 chapters in, and the book's not too bad.
Oh, great!
Because he's going to answer all the questions: where he comes from, who his people are, why he ended up where he ended up, and then when I've done that, I can start reviewing the whole thing of it all. Then. So
are you going to post? I could put you next to the man from Atlantis on one of your thumbnails, if you like.
Yes, that was in the trunks.
Well, I can have you swimming together or something, and I can make your eyes like you know me. I love doing graphic design work. I wish I could do it professionally.
No, I don't mind.
I love it. I wish I could have made money from it though.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things I've created. What I've done over the year, I wish I could have made money out.
Yeah, I know. It's good fun.
You know,
and it's go on.
But it was the way he swam was sort of.
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody swim that. Is it possible?
Well, I mean, it really looks like it really is the actor doing it. So you must have some lots of experience in swimming. I suppose. I don't know. I mean, it's a real body. It can't be CGI because it's before CGI. It can't be.
Yeah.
So I assume that the answer to that is yes, but it's just an unconventional way of swimming last year.
What's interesting about Man from Atlantis is that the whole thing with him is that where he comes from, who he is, he can swim like that he ended up in Pam's shower at the end of the greatest Dallas episode. It's the Man from Atlantis when she opened the shower and he's there.
Hi, Jen, whatever her name was, yeah. No, was it Pam?
Yeah.
What was her name? Pamela Ewing, wasn't it? I can't remember.
Pam, wasn't he Bobby?
Bobby. But I like Dallas. I thought it was quite a good series.
I did. Did you watch the new series that came out?
I heard about it. I never saw it. I know that some of the actors
I saw the final episode where JR screwed everybody over in it at the end. He screwed the load of them over.
Yeah, but it went on for years, that one. It went on for years.
Yeah, he died. It was in his death, he'd set up a whole thing for it.
Oh, now, change the subject completely because we haven't mentioned it yet. Oh, I've got to talk about this. This will fill up some time. So, Star Trek Picard, the last episode. Oh my God! We've taken a long time to get to that, and that's a big thing. Oh my God! So
back to Man from Atlantis.
Eli, what did you think about it? Because I need to tell me what you think, and then I'll tell you my perspective of watching it the first time because I completely misunderstood it, and it was a big factor. So I did have a look at your review, but just tell us for the show. Give us a brief opinion of what you thought of it.
Hang on, somebody's at the door.
Oh no, there's somebody at the door.
The door.
There's somebody at the door. This is a live blooper, by the way. Well, it's not live, but it's live for me at the moment as I'm talking. And I'm on my own. I'm going to keep this going because this is interesting. This makes for a blooper. Martin, wash your hands when you come back.
You've left the door, Bob.
This is classic. Oh, I love it.
Oh, you're not needed, everything's alright. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, come on, yeah.
Oh, God. Are we going to have an extra guest on the show?
There's electricians there. Hang on, give me 2 minutes.
Okay.
So go in there, in the kitchen, round there.
Okay.
It's in the bottom. It's the fire alarm wants putting back up.
Okay.
You want some ladders?
No. Where is his one?
I don't want to get too close, mate. It's down there, in that cupboard there, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I've got the electrician here. Yeah.
That made for an awesome blooper. You make sure that he doesn't touch anything and that you wash your hands once he's gone.
Yes, no, well, I'll just tell him to keep distance.
Yeah, oh God. Is he still going around people's houses, though? I mean, you don't know where he's been. Is he wearing gloves or something?
Yeah, he's wearing gloves, yeah.
I say, bloody hell, mate. We'll get him out as soon as you can. I wouldn't want to have him. I mean, we're not letting anybody near our front door at the moment, so...
Well, I forgot the housing association, they're going to send an electrician. I forgot all about it, actually. I thought...
Most people are cancelling stuff. I mean, we were supposed to have, like, a gas... what's it called? A boiler update check, but I can't remember the word, but that's all been cancelled. So
yeah, well, they cancelled my new sofa, my new carpets, and my decorating.
The service is what I meant to say.
And they paid all money back into the bank account. So
yeah. Anyway, let's doesn't matter. No, that's fine. I mean, that's made for a bit of a blooper, but I think that's worth it. It's quite funny. Yes. Going back to what you were saying, so yeah, the card. So let me tell you my opinion about it because
go on.
Now, I misunderstood the whole ending of it, and I'll tell you how. And this is a few times this series as after seeing it again or hearing people's reviews. Now, do you remember when Icheb showed up in about episode 5 or something by a different actor? When we first saw, I didn't know it was Icheb. Yeah. Okay, I thought it was just some Starfleet Officer of the Week, red shirt, dying, and of course afterwards I realised it was Icheb. And of course, although he wasn't a particularly popular character, he's a long-term character. And of course, it made his death quite... you look back at Voyager and think about what his character happened. I knew that it was Hugh, and when he died, yes, that was quite a strong thing. But with Picard, now I knew what was happening. He was going to be put into a synthetic body, and I actually thought that was quite an okay idea. That his body is finished, but his essence goes on. But my major issue was that we had Data show up in what I misunderstood. In episode 1, we saw Picard, and he was waking up from dreams. He was dreaming about being with Data, talking to him in 10 Forward, talking to him on his vineyards. It wasn't really Data. It wasn't the essence of Data. It was just a random thought based on Picard not being well. We saw Data at the end of this episode, but it was really Data. It was part of his consciousness, somehow kept from when it transferred to B4, and Maddox has somehow kept it and used some of that to make these new synthetics. But I didn't know that the essence of Data was still alive and Picard was interacting with him. So Picard, in the end, he says he wants to die. That's the end of it. I never got how important that was, that his character really was finishing, because I thought it was a dream. I thought it wasn't really an essence of him. So I missed out on that. You obviously got it.
Yeah. Well, he's mentioned that they said that it was something to do with the neurons. That there was enough of them that getting a positonic brain could restore Data's consciousness.
I missed that.
It would make sense. It would make sense. That was the whole point of the whole mission, really.
Yeah.
And obviously, I think he was trying to. I think he can't probably help him restore his friends, But,
well, that's what I thought would happen. I thought he would actually.
Yeah. Well, that's what I thought. But I knew that. I was surprised when we found him in the big synthetic consciousness.
That's what I'm saying. That really surprised me. I really was surprised that he was actually still self-aware in this in artificial environment. So I'll give them their credit. It was actually an interesting end. It wasn't the end that we all thought. It was interesting for his character. I think that Brent Spiner said he did not want to return as Data in any way ever again. But I still think they could have put his consciousness into Arik or Sung's son, or something, and then it would have looked like Data. He could have acted a bit like Data, but then Brent Spiner wouldn't have had to wear all the makeup or anything like that. Now, a lot of people have been disappointed by this finale. I don't know really. I mean, everyone I know, including me, that when the end credits came up, we all thought that Q was going to suddenly turn up or something and say, looks like I was a bit late, Picard, or something in his new body. It didn't happen. It ended up without a cliffhanger, which I think that we all could have enjoyed. So yeah, I've got a lot of mixed feelings with this series. I didn't like the Starfleet ship, which was just one ship, which was literally copy C, Control V to make a fleet of ships. Yeah, it had a lot of problems, I think. So yeah.
I'm gonna give it 8 out of 10.
For the episode or the series?
I thought the series was exemplary till episode 8.
Okay.
And then I found episode 9 quite monotonous. You got a lot of answers on episode 9. It was just an answer episode, which they should have used that episode to build up a twist and a big thing to go into episode 10. And they've lost out on that opportunity. Episode 10 itself, it started off okay.
Right.
It moved along. It was a bit predictable where it was going, especially, and then somewhere when he was going to sacrifice his life for everybody and to make a point of his morals, and he sort of, how do you say it, sacrificed himself.
Yeah.
After that, I just found it was a cheap excuse to get out of it. I found the whole thing with Data, I found that went on for far too long.
Okay.
It must have gone on for over 10 minutes, sat in a room, now he's a bloody android. He's not going to want to die. But then they went into how he wanted to make his life meaning,
But
and
he
all
might,
this. And
he might have had emotions. I don't think that he would have had his emotions.
yeah, that's true. That's true. That I can't dispute that.
So that might have actually given him a slightly that sort of opinion that, you know, because of depression or whatever he felt. So yeah, I have been disappointed by this series on the whole. It didn't quite feel like the 24th century. I didn't like the F-bombs, which I've mentioned many times, because I've always said that shows like this, all these shows should be accessible to people of all ages. And Star Trek in the past, even apart from Discovery, which also has some adult themes, has been. Doctor Who always has been. Stargate always has been. Star Wars have always, all the big four. They're my big four series of all time. Okay, and all of those in the past have been accessible to people of all ages. But I remember, I don't know if it was you or somebody I read or somewhere where they said that they were watching Picard with their daughter, and then that Romulan sort of like incestuous sister said something about to the Narek, whatever his name was, about getting off with whatever he said. And he said that, you know, he's fighting with his daughter, and it made him feel uncomfortable. And it's not needed in Star Trek. I don't mind adult themes in other genres, but there's certain points where a series which is run on like this, that you don't go to that point. I don't think you don't need it. And I just think some of it was CBS just saying, oh, let's look cool, let's have the Admiral doing F-bombs and then another F-bomb, and I don't know, it's just something about it didn't feel, the Data thing, although you said it's extended, that felt quite Star Trek to me.
Yeah, it was.
That bit was Star Trek.
It was Star Trek. Yeah, it was Star Trek. Yeah.
But a lot of it wasn't.
Agree with
a lot of it wasn't Star Trek to me. It just wasn't.
No, it wasn't. I found out that how it all came together. It was a complete cop out. The Romulan fleet turning up, him replicating the ship 500 times.
The Picard maneuver. With
the imaginary machine you could fix stuff with.
Yeah.
You know, then Riker turning up. I like the whole scene of Riker turning up.
Oh yeah, Riker's great. I love
next show with the big fleet of starships, and he said, "So I'm going to kick your ass if you don't leave."
Yeah, but again, they could have used those ships.
A bit of a cop out.
Yeah.
And then the build up to this synthetic empire that is there. So how do you say this whole synthetic empire thing? What did we say? A couple of tentacles.
Yeah, and I thought that would be
a cop out. It was the Data thing, and then was good. And then they gave him an android body with no superpowers. Yeah, and he was going to die. And
you just wanted the $6 million Picard, didn't you?
I don't want $6 million.
I've got the music playing in the background. Yeah, go on.
No, we got Cylon Picard, didn't we?
Yeah,
we got Cylon Picard, didn't we? I mean, come on, it was what resurrection technology.
Oh, no, yeah, it was very, but they were very Cylon-esque.
I don't want $6 million Picard jumping 50 feet in air.
You didn't get him. You didn't get him though. You didn't get him. just got
because he's so bloody moralistic, isn't he? But so is he actually alive or is it a copy?
Is it live or is it
that's
memory?
the question now, isn't it?
I know. It's a bit of a mystery.
It was a cop out when he said, I'd rather have seen him die at the end of the series. And gone for the big moralistic sacrifice.
Yeah.
And they let that down.
Yeah, I know. I agree about that.
But it wasn't bad.
Yeah, it was a mixed bag.
And then 7 of 9 and Rafi getting it off.
I didn't want that. It's forced.
I'm not bothered about that, but they made the point of certain things. I'm not bothered about it.
No,
it's just the point.
Yeah, but it's a throw-in. You know, it's always throwing these. Oh, I just don't like it. I just don't.
I'm not bothered. Look, I'm not bothered, but it's fair enough. But it's how they put it across here, which
the hand holding. Yeah, I just.
I'm not bothered about that. I thought that's cool. It don't bother me what she gets up to. But what it is it's like with Doctor Who when she do it's lovely, isn't it? It's so romantic. And you sat there thinking, well, I don't need this. I just want to watch science fiction and get like the whole thing of him and Data. It did have a lot of meaning, even though it went on a bit too long.
Yeah, Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't know.
And where was the cliffhanger? The big clip that all sitting there, like the new crew and him and his Cylon body. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I think. From what you gather from the Star Trek community, are most people happy with it? Are they meh? Are they indifferent?
I think it's divided.
Yeah, I think it's divided as well.
A lot of people. A couple of my friends have been watching. They're not happy with it.
Yeah, well, I'm not. I've told you before. No, I'm not. That's one of the things I've got a major issue with. They did it once in Discovery in season 1, I think. But I accept it.
We dropped after that.
Yeah, I know. I actually just I thought, well, okay, just a one-offer. But every episode, 2 or 3 times, there's the F-bombs, and it's not as if I'm a monk or something. I swear like a trooper when I'm driving in my car. Yeah. But I just don't like it in my Star Trek, which makes it feel that this isn't my Star Trek. Right? That's the way I feel. So how Discovery.
I mean, look, I've enjoyed this series. This series has been very good. It has been incredibly well done. Except I think that again we have a fantastic build-up. Yeah. And then towards the end we get a crap episode to finish off the story. Yeah. Which really the whole point of this was to build it to that cliffhanger to get your hopes in season 2, and it didn't deliver that. Now up until episode 8 I can turn this off. Now I'm going to sit and watch it as a block altogether.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to rewatch the whole thing.
I might change my mind.
Yeah, I might feel different than watching it the second time around. Actually, definitely, I agree about that.
I'm just picking at the points of it. I mean, I did enjoy it, but I felt a few people said to me, and I saw it on Facebook. A lot of people felt let down by the how it finished. Hang on. Yeah.
After 10 seconds, I so.
The what?
I see so.
I can't. I'm doing it. I can't. I'm working it.
But my apologies. I need to.
Right. Hang on.
Sorry, mate.
Yeah. Can we get back to this in about 10 minutes? I've got to turn up power off.
Right, we're back. We've had some interesting developments. Do you want to quickly say what happened for the show? Because this is quite funny. Go on.
Well, the electrician came out to check the fire alarms and safety fit the annual every 3 months.
Right.
And he was here for 20 minutes, and he had a mask on. And I'm stood there talking to him. I don't know where he come from. I couldn't understand a bloody word he was saying. I said, look, I'm working, I'm doing something. He said, oh, you must turn your power on. I said, what for? I said, you're only here for fire alarm. He said, no, I've got to check your power box. So
that's not fair. That's not fair.
I said, what are you doing? So he said, oh, well, it's my job. He said, I've got it all on thing. And so I said, I looked out the window, get this. This is what made it funny. So I'm outside. There's only a traffic warden outside stalking his mouth. I said to him at the kitchen, I said, mate, I said, there's a traffic warden. I've never seen anybody shout out through that door as quick as him.
Well, why are they all doing that with all this going on? That's crazy.
Why have we got bloody traffic wardens out there?
Oh, that's ridiculous. I mean, surely that's not essential. That's not essential work, is it? Traffic wardens? That's not essential.
You tell me.
And you look at a lot less traffic up there anyway, because people are staying at home and working from home anyway.
Well, they do, because where I live in Kensington, like, I live down there, Notting Hill.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's, you know, they're known for traffic wardens around here. I mean,
not during this thing.
Yeah, well, they were outside. I said to him, I said, look, mate, look, I've got to get on. You know, because I've got a video call at 2 o'clock. And I said,
oh, that's not fair.
I said, there's a traffic warden outside. He went, what? He said, can you, he said to me, can you go out and talk? I said, no.
No.
I said, just it's down to you. He said, you know, his gas mask on, looking at me like, and so he finished up and he went running downstairs and he came back up and said, oh, he nearly gave me a ticket. I said, well,
sod
you know,
off
that's
then.
not my problem.
No.
I said, he said, oh, well, you know, I've got to go to your neighbours now. I said, he won't let you.
Oh,
yeah. Look at that now.
Oh.
Gosh,
I mean, that must be that is quite a shitty job to do, though, isn't it? I mean, that's not a good job to do in the first place. But given what's going on, oh mate, that's not good. And I just heard my old Flipside podcast co-host Ivan has just told me that my other co-host Ben Williams is in intensive care with the coronavirus.
Is that one of the Americans?
Yeah, one of my American mates. He's actually in intensive care. I just heard it. I'm absolutely shocked. He's in intensive care. He's in his 40s, but he's, you know, I think he has got some health issues. And
which part of the States is he?
He's in Texas.
Right.
So I'm a bit shocked about that. So I'm going to call my mate tonight, and so obviously people don't know that I used to do another podcast, but it's just it's a bit of a shock to hear that. So
I've got a friend in New York. I'm extremely worried. I've been trying to contact her, but I've not heard back from her.
Oh, mate, I tell you, I mean, I'm
worried about her.
I wanted to say that I'm sorry the show has gone slightly in a tangent, but we're living in interesting times at the moment, and I'm sure that you know.
It's like we're in the middle of a global fucking pandemic, and you've got the guy who comes out to test fire
and a traffic wall
and a fucking traffic wall.
It's like something out of it's like something out of a comedy film, isn't it? It's like Shaun of the Dead.
Did you
or
and I end up in a parallel universe? Somewhere?
It's like we're in the Simon Pegg comedy series or something, a comedy film or something.
Yeah, it is.
It's just like something out of that, The World's End or something, you know. It's just surreal. I don't know. But anyway, we've got our power on. I think we've just about finished our news.
Where were we? Anyway,
I think we were wrapping up the Star Trek Picard and just giving our opinions about it from ourselves and the Trek community. And if they make a series 2, which they're supposed to be doing, I'll be interested. But I'll rate the series out of 10. I'll probably give it a 6.5 out of 10. Yeah.
That is that. I was surprised when you go for an 8. At least I'm going to give it an 8.
I might push to 7 at the most, but it's once I've seen it again, it might go up a point or two. So it's first reaction, it's that. But I'm a person who I used to watch Star Trek on all the time, again and again at random, and you know, sometimes you watch it again, you know, a bit more aware of what it's going to take you. So at the moment, from personal impressions, it's 6.5. But it probably will go up a little bit, I think. I'll let you know.
I have to say it's not Deep Space Nine, though, is it?
Oh, God, no. It couldn't be more removed from Deep Space Nine. Including the starships where they couldn't even throw in a Sovereign class or a Intrepid class. And I'm a Star Trek ship guy, as you know. And they just copy-paste. I didn't mind the design of the new one. It was all right. But they just...
the Zheng-Shi or something?
No, the other the Riker's ship. Which is copied.
Zheng-Shi, I think.
Yeah, well, whatever it was.
So,
but we didn't even get a close-up of it. I mean, it was just a fleet of fuzzy ships. It was nice. That's cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, there we go. Thank you, Martin, for that. And that is just about our Solar One Sci-Fi news for the week. All right. So at that point, I think we should go into our focus of the week and hear the jingle and tell you what it is. Here we go.
It's the
Solar Sci-Fi
focus of the week.
Right, as you can hear from the music, it started up. This is a show which ran in the 90s. It was a good series. It was unusual, but I remember it coming on BBC Two, and I was very blown away by the early episodes. And that series was, of course, called Sliders. I'll give you a quick synopsis, then I'll ask Martin what you think about it. So it says Sliders is an American sci-fi and fantasy television series created by Robert K. Weiss and Tracy Tormey. It was broadcast for 5 seasons between 1995 and 2000. The series follows a group of travellers as they use a wormhole to slide between parallel universes. Tormey, Weiss, Leslie Batsberg, John Landis, David Peckinpah, Bill Dahl and Alan Barnett served as executive producers at different times in production. For its first 2 seasons, it was produced in Vancouver, British Columbia. It was filmed primarily in Los Angeles, California for its last 3 seasons. Since its debut in March 22nd, 1995, the first 3 seasons were broadcast by Fox. It was then cancelled by Fox, and the series moved to Sci-Fi Channel for its final 2 seasons. Its last episode was aired on the 29th of December 1999 in the United Kingdom. Okay, so let's hear from your perspective first of all what you thought about it.
I thought Sliders should have been one of the best series ever made. It should have been up there with, for the time, it should have been up there with Babylon 5 and Stargate and Star Trek.
Yeah, I agree. And
it's got the potential. It should have been within the top greats of that decade.
I agree. And I think the first season, it was actually heading towards those heights. Its first season was absolutely fantastic. I could not praise the series enough. But it went through such a change. It deteriorated so badly as it went along. And that's why it is not considered one of the greats. So when I first saw it, like I said, I absolutely fell in love with it. So when do you think it actually started to really deteriorate?
A lot of people say after season 2, don't they?
Yeah, and because that's when it moved to LA. That's when they changed. Because if you remember,
and that's because when he left as well.
Yes, what's his name? Jerry O'Connor. Jerry O'Connor.
No, he left season 4.
John Rhys Davies. He left in season 3, I think. But the thing is, you see, the series. When you watch a season 5 episode compared to season 1, it's not recognisable. Apart from Rembrandt Crime Man, he's the only character that remains in the entire series. But it just went through such a decline, and then the series just became a mess. The first season, it really had some really interesting concepts of a parallel universe. There's so many. There was one where women were more in charge than men. There was one where it was the British States of America, where we were still in control over there. There was one where Quinn's character in the alternate created some terrible virus, and he was like patient zero. Tell me some of the episodes that you stick in your mind when you think about the series.
There's one in season 2 always stuck to me where the Quinn equivalent accidentally lets out a slider wave of energy, and he brings up everybody from parallel Earth. They're all doubled up on one Earth.
Yes, that's right.
Which I thought was a genius thing to do.
Yeah, I thought so as well. There was also one where I like the one early on where Russia was in control of the USA as well. That was
and there was a bit of continuation with that as well, with the Russian thing, because the end of one episode in first season. Do you remember in the pilot episode they had that mad hippie genius guy who was like the grungy sort of. I forget, you know what? I thought but they dropped him pretty quick. I like that character because that was the one where they created the nuclear bomb.
And he kept the plans. And he was going to, and he went boom at the end. But he also played a really straight-laced one in one. But they should have kept his character going. But
but there was one. Sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say, but then like I said, as you rightly say, his character was dropped as well.
But he played part in the cliffhanger somewhere in the series where it was in the Russian world, where they went in the pilot episode where the KGB turned up at his house and said, "Can you watch this? You know, want to show him a sliding wormhole."
Yeah.
And it just finished there on that one.
Yeah, I can't remember that.
Which was interesting. It was only like 2 minutes at the end. They just put it in.
Yeah.
I thought would have been interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, maybe he'd have been able to track them, or I don't know. I mean, he was in that same field, wasn't he? He was, but yeah, it was just a very, very good series. I mean, did you like all the recurring characters?
there was a lot of conflict on the set. I watched. They had Sliders thing about a year ago where they got some of them together. John Rhys Davis and Jerry O'Connell were at some convention, and they were on about that. There's a problem with Sliders because nobody knows who owns the rights to it, because they'd like to bring it back.
Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I'll have to send you the convention footage. It's quite interesting. The problem is Fox, I think it's for the TV company, they actually went looking through. They don't know who owns the rights to it.
Oh God.
It's a bit of a mess upon it's. I don't know. I mean, it's what they said. I'm only going by what they said. So.
Yeah.
But Sliders were brilliant. The first and second seasons were excellent. It started third season. I'm not putting down Roger Daltrey, but when he come in, it all changed.
Yeah, and then he came back because his character came back the next episode played by a different actor, which was a bit really sort of like stupid.
So we spent like 10 episodes chasing him through dimensions.
That's it. And that was when Carrie Wurra came along the show as well.
Yeah, well, she didn't get on with the other one.
Well, that's what what was her name?
There's Carrie Wurra, Sex on Legs and things.
Yeah.
Dead, didn't they?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, because they had her dressed up in shorts.
Sabrina Lloyd, that's it.
And she were quite. So it was like Carrie Wurra, but one you'd go out with for the night, and Sabrina Lloyd you'd get married to.
Yeah.
It were like, you know what I mean, and I'm not stereotyping.
No, it's fine.
They put her in because she sexed it up, and I've got to admit, I thought, I'm not complaining.
Yeah, I didn't either. Oh no. I like both actually.
Maggie Sawyer, that one. Captain Maggie Sawyer.
That's it, Maggie, wasn't it? And then we had Jerry O'Connor's brother appearing for a while as well. As wasn't he? What was he? A parallel brother or something that he didn't know or something?
It all came out that when they got back to Earth Prime, because obviously we're going to go into the baddies of the series.
The Quamags, whatever they're called.
The Cro-Mags.
Cro-Mags, that's it.
God, well, when they got kicked off their world in the war with the humans, and his parents turned up and dropped him off on Earth Prime.
That's it.
Which you want Earth Prime, he comes from Earth Prime.
Yeah, that's it.
But they put a force field down it so nobody could slide into it. And he suddenly found out there was a chip in his arm or something. I mean, this was just getting ridiculous.
I was just about to say the word ridiculous is coming up now. And I just lost it.
And then they found him in next dimension. He lived in an Amish community, but he liked to invent things. like a kite.
Well, how come it all went wrong with the writing? Like, the writing was so solid in the first season.
So after that, and then it was like the entire fourth series were the Cro-Mags.
Yeah.
And the Cro-Mag Empire, which were all just. I mean, I want really a big, because when they first brought the Cro-Mags into it, they were really cheesy. And then when they brought them back, they were all like Nazis.
Yeah, that's it.
And they had to breed the humans to keep race going.
Well, I didn't mind their first episode. It was like they were in a theme park or something, and the ship crashed or something. But then it just got more and more ridiculous. And then, like I said, we had Earth Prime. We had, I don't know. It was. I don't think I've seen the whole of season 5. What happened at the end? I mean, I've got it as well, but I've just never got around to seeing it.
It comes out that. Do you remember the pilot episode where he met himself?
Yes.
Gave the final equation.
The one equation for him to slide. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he was the one that gave the Cro-Mags the sliding technology.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because on their world there were two races. There were human. They were more advanced than everybody else. There were them. There were two continents, and the Cro-Mags attacked them.
Right.
And his father and his mother created a device where it shifted the whole lot of them off the planet and just slided them off.
Yeah.
And they got all them. They must have caught him when they were all somewhere else, and he gave them sliding technology. And when they started conquering other dimensions, they realised Cro-Mags were more or less extinct on every parallel Earth.
Oh, okay.
And they can't get back to Earth Prime. They can't get back because they've shielded it off.
Yeah. Well, I just think it was a bit of a mess, unfortunately, at the end.
It was.
But
And then what happened to his brother? He just got lost.
And he merged or something in the end. A different actor to play Quinn at the end. It was a different actor.
Yeah. They had this super villain dude. I think it was the Doctor from. No, it wasn't. It was Londo Malawi
from Babylon 5. The actor,
Five.
yeah, I know the actor.
No, but this mad slider scientist, and he ended up merging them both for some reason, and he became just Quinn.
That's right, wasn't it? Yeah, rather than Up at that point, I thought, okay. It just felt. It reminded me a little bit of the second season of War of the Worlds, where the first season had some. I think some good stories, but the second season it just completely went a completely different tangent.
You've got to realise that when people write this shit, right, that these, sliders, you're talking it like $1 million an episode, more or less. You know, so probably possibly season 4, then they really cut back.
Yeah.
But you know, these productions cost money. It, like War of the Worlds, so somebody were writing these crap stories and somebody were bankrolling it.
Yeah,
it's true, isn't it?
I agree. But I'm glad I've seen most of it, and I just think it's a shame, like I said, that it was a series that could have gone so much further, and it didn't, and it was just based on their own stupidity that messed things up in the end, which is a real shame.
There is an ending to it.
All right. So do you want to, what was the ending that you?
Well, I don't know if they end up on their Earth, but they end up on an Earth. Where they defeated the Cro-Mags. I think they think it's their Earth, but it's not. They created the virus that kills Cro-Mags.
Oh,
this virus, and these people. This guy. He can predict the future or something. He's a prophet.
Right. Okay.
And they won't let him slide. But obviously, this is it 5th season, final episode? Well. Rembrandt wants to get back to his Earth, and they inject him with he becomes a carrier of the pandemic, and at the end it's like he slides off to his Earth.
Okay.
You know? Yeah. She's dead. I think Sabrina Last character's killed because she ends up in get this right.
I remember she was in prison or something.
She's in a Cro-Mag breeding camp.
Oh, okay. All right.
No.
Okay. I assume we never see her again, do we?
No. I think there's a telepathic call from her, but that's about it. And they just go sliding off. That's it. But he goes back to his Earth with his virus to kill. He kills Cro-Mags.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Cro-Mag breeding camp. He just give up.
Well, look. As far as I'm concerned, if it had been, even if it just finished and not been renewed after season 2. I would have probably rated it as a good 8.5 out of 10 for a series.
I think they'd have brought it back. If they'd have gone to season 2 and cancelled it, I think there would have been
a chance. I think so. And I think it would have been long term, it would have been better remembered. But because of all the crap that happened, it's got to go down to about a 4 for me, I think. For the last ones, it just completely, like I said, it ruined the whole concept.
There was a lot of arguing on the set. She didn't get on with Carrie, were her?
Yeah, I heard about that.
It's apparently they hated each other, and she demanded more money to Sabrina Lloyd.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, she apparently, because she ended up in a Cro-Mag breeding camp.
All right.
I mean, go.
I don't know. I just think I'm glad I saw it, but like I said, it's not one of the best series because of what happened with it. If it had stayed in Vancouver, where they made the first 2 seasons, and you could tell it's got that kind of feel that you watch from similar shows which are made over there, like The Outer Limits or Stargate. It did feel different when it moved to LA. You could just tell it. And suddenly, because in the first 2 seasons, the portal would only sort of stay near to the original town. And then they said, now we can go other places. It was terrible at the end. It was just a mess. It was such a shame. All right, Martin. Well, thanks for that review. So out of 10, what would you rate it to sum this series up?
You might not agree with this. I'm going to give. Look, I know there were 3 crap seasons. Well, there is some potential in the later seasons with some stuff, but I'm going to give it 9 out of 10 because I put it on
concept is good.
I put it on the could have been a classic, and I think Sliders is a classic.
Yeah, okay.
I really do. I think the potential of Sliders is it should have been up there. The great hits at the time were DS9, B5, Next Gen, Voyager, and Sliders. I put that up there with it.
And if it had stopped in season 2, I would have rated it as an 8. But like I said, I still rate that as 8 for the first 2 seasons, so I'm pretty similar. But those other 3 series, like I said, it completely taints it for me. But
I put Space Above and Beyond.
I've still got to see that. I've got to see that.
Do you know something? You're going to love that.
I have seen some of it, but I've never watched it fully. I've got the whole series.
Wait till you start watching that. You've got a bit of
Well, I've still got to do The Expanse. Yeah, I'm stuck on season 3 of that. So.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for that. Now, I've got, because I've had to muck about the timing and stuff, we've got to quickly do, it's about 5-minute slot. If you tell me about your Predator slot for this week, let's go into that and then we'll finish off.
Oh, God. I've had to really think about this. I've had to, right, the Waltons.
Yeah, okay. Are you ready?
Heck,
Here we go. Here goes the jingle. Here we go.
Predator versus.
Night, everybody.
Good night, Mama. Night, Ben. Good night, everyone.
Good night, Mama. Good night, Daddy.
Good night, children. Good night, Daddy. Good night, Elizabeth.
Good night, John Boy. Good night, Jim Bob. Good night, Jim Bob.
Good night, Jim Bob.
What's going on? I was asleep. What's everybody doing?
Good night,
Good night, Jim
Right, Walton's Mountain, the town. The sheriff's driving his car up to say the Waltons. The granddad's called Zebulon, that were his name, Zebulon.
Oh, okay. Zebulon 5.
That's on his Zebulon Walton. So I'm not making this up, right? I fucking hate you for this.
Go on. No, you're the one that suggested it.
Right, all right. Zebulon. Right, I'm going to alter the what? I'm going to switch. The Waltons are all into incest and eating people, right?
Oh, that sounds interesting.
Right, well, they're normally these, what they call them, hillbilly types in America that all fucking like that, aren't
You're
they?
not that you're generalising, of course, or anything like that.
No.
I wouldn't. No.
He sat on porch, smoking a pipe, and there's a star in the sky, and the sheriff turns up, and meanwhile, Walton's, they're all fucking eating somebody who they caught in a bear trap. Right? There's Ma, Pa, and the rest of them, right? So they're like, they invite sheriff up, they're all eating this innocent bat tracker who were out there. And John Boy comes out. Well, he was writing his book. He said, I saw a star, and there's a bit of an explosion up at top of Walton's Mountain. And Pa says, like, because now you got to realise, right? Pa was in the First World War, right?
Yeah.
So he had some military experience. John Boy fought in the Second World War. So we'll set this in the very 1950, right?
Okay.
So John Boy fought in war as well with Jim Bob or whatever he's called. So Waltons, because they've got guns, you know, they're hillbilly. They get the sheriff and they all think, fuck it, let's go up that mountain, right? They all head up the mountain, and there it is, fucking stood in wreckage as a fucking predator, 8 foot tall, and fucking Pa and Zebulon's there, like looking at it, and they start firing the guns at it, and it's taking them out. First one, Zebulon gets his head blown off. Pa Walton's like, just his body drops to the floor. John Boy and Jim Bob and the rest of them, whatever they're called, they're all going, Grandpa, fucking laser beams, taking them all out one at a time. Jim Bob gets his bollocks blown apart.
Okay.
Pa Walton's got a rake. He attacks the fucking predator and smacks the rake into it, but the predator picks him up by his neck and rips Pa Walton's head off, right? So fucking John Boy says, let's retreat back to the house. So they all run back to the house, right? And get all the weapons. Now they've got dynamite because there's a mine nearby, right?
Right.
Got to go with, and they own a sawmill next to the house, right? So the Waltons are all in there with women, and they're all putting Grandma and all them. They're all Ma Walton putting dynamite together. Predators like fucking walking down to Walton's house, and John Boy says to Jim Bob, you know, look, you've got to get out there tonight and take it on. So he sends out with Mary Lou Walton, whatever she called her. So they go outside and get vaporised straight away. And now there's all little Walton kids, they're like savages, you know, like they've got like, they just want to eat it, right? So fucking Predator stood there. Anyway, fucking John Boy gets them sawmill wheels and starts lobbing them at fucking barn door from sawmill.
Right.
And Predator blows the fucking barn to bits. So anyway, there's about 4 of them left, right? Ma Walton's got a shotgun. Granny's on the porch with a shotgun. And they catch the predator in a crossfire, you know, and blow its leg off. Right, you know, from Granny on the porch and Ma Walton. But it's laser gun, fucking, and it's disc thing. It sort of decapitates Ma Walton. So, like, old Walton's, like, even kid, they're all fucking dead except John Boy. And the sheriff, and meanwhile, Predator's laughing, you know, even though it's had its part of its leg blown off. It's still there, which sheriff said, just throwing, taking its badge off, you know, as a trophy. And John Boy stood there with a rake. And he's got what else would he have? A stick of dynamite. And he goes running to Predator and he jumps on it. He goes, fuck you! And he goes, good night, everybody. Bang, and he blows up. Fucking Predator blows to bits with John Boy on top of it. and all next day, that family owned that shop, come up from the town, and all the Waltons are fucking dead. Except this part of a great creature.
Right. Okay.
But in the wreckage, there's a bit of a hand movement, and it's John Boy.
Oh.
And he stood there in smoke. And all his family are dead around him, and them from shop, and he's looking at them thinking, I'm going to have them for dinner. And I'm going to breed with the others and build a new family of Waltons.
The Waltons, the next generation.
Yeah, and it just finishes with that lovely music at the end. And you hear the voice going, good night,
John Boy. Good night,
Pa."
John Boy. Oh, no, he wouldn't, would he? Good night, Pa.
There's no voices, but that's what he says, and the light just goes out.
Oh, my God. Well, that is definitely the most surreal Predator versus I think we've ever done. Make the film. Let's make the film. Let's get the rights.
Well, I had to do something with Waltons. Well, the hillbillies out there. No, you've seen Hills of Ice, haven't you? They're hillbillies out there.
Oh God! Well, I saw the remake of that, and I actually had it on CD, and it was so bad that I actually cracked the CD and threw it in the bin. It was terrible. I've not seen the original one, but this remake, it was just absolutely terrible. It was awful.
Well, they have these families in America that live in mountains that eat people and they all breed with each other, don't they? That's that stereotype. And I'm only joking, of course, I don't mean this for our American listeners. But it's when they portray these movies. Yeah. They did it on Torchwood, didn't they, where they had that family in Wales where they were eating people. I never got into Torchwood, actually. I saw the first couple of episodes and I just didn't click with it. Well, there's like a British equivalent of Welsh ones. Oh, okay. People, yeah. Bonita. Yeah, look your way. I'm going to eat your. I'm going to eat your for my. I can't do Welsh accent. I think Predator versus Captain Jack would be a good one. I could too. Well, maybe you want to do that next week. Now, no, it's your turn now. All right. Well, I don't know yet what to do yet. I'll give it some thought, and we'll just go the next week. I think. All right. I would think give it more discussion. But I've got 1 minute 20 seconds of recording time on this clip, so yep. I'm going to sign off. Thank you for that. Excellent work as usual. Yes. We're going to leave with a song I keep meaning to play, but this week I'll play it. It's a sort of Western sort of montage of The Mandalorian. It's called The Mandalorian Iron. I thought it was quite funny. Give us a listen. Thank you, everybody. Stay safe. Martin, wash your hands now. That man's been in your house. I'm being serious. I'm being deadly serious, mate. Wash your hands, mate. Okay. Yes. And you look after yourself because and we'll be back next week on the Solo One Sci-Fi podcast. Thank you, Martin. Yeah. Live long and prosper. We'll catch you later. I'm seeing you.
From a planet they call Mandalore came a stranger one fine day. Never lifted up his helmet, never had too much to say. No one dared to ask his business, no one dared to make the slip, for that Mandalorian had a big iron on his hip, a big iron on his hip. When he landed on Navarro, he was looking for some work, and he met up with old Grief Karga, who told him with a smirk, "You're the best one in the parsec," that's the whisper from each lip. "Now I've got business for the Mando with the big iron on his hip, the big iron on his hip." In this town there was a bounty that was strictly off the book. Many men had tried to claim it, but none had just what it took. And the client was imperial, and the bounty was bizarre. But the Mando took the job because they paid him with Beskar. They paid him with Beskar. So the Mando took the payment and the little tracking far. Climbed aboard his trusty starship and flew off for the job. Well, he landed on Arvala and he learned to ride a bird. And he rode off for the bounty with his mind upon his work. His mind upon his work. Well, the bad men in the compound numbered 50, maybe more. But he partnered with the bounty droid and evened up the score. Then he found a baby Yoda, shot the droid right in the head, for it tried to harm the baby, but that droid just wound up dead. The droid just wound up dead. So he took the baby Yoda all the way back to his ship. But the Jawas, they had raided it and given him the slip. So he bargained with the Jawas, and a mudhorn he did slay. Took that egg back to the Jawas, and then went about his way. Went about his way. When he took his bounty in that day, he didn't feel quite right. With his shiny Beskar armor, he went looking for a fight. And the stormtroopers were many, but a laser fairly ripped, and the whistling birds were deadly like the big iron on his hip. The big iron on his hip. Now the Mando saved the baby and he made a quick escape. Many hunters tried to take him since, and many met their fate. So if you want to go on living, friend, don't make that fatal slip, and take the bounty on the Mando with the big iron on his hip. The big iron on his hip. Big iron, big iron. Don't you try to match the Mando with the big iron on his hip. The big iron on his hip.